This episode of the Golf Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET has what you need to win. Sign up today and bet $100, and you get a $100 free bet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. All right, D-Gens, welcome back for the DFS show. For the RSM, Sea Island, the Sea Island Mafia. It's your boy, Boston Capper, with the god of golf himself, Steve Sherman, and we have special guest Ryan Baroff with us. Ryan, what's up, baby?
Good. You just called me Brian Kirshner, so I just called you out on that.
I did not. I said Ryan Baroff. It's
on Twitter.
I don't do it. You can yell at my producer. I don't do any of that.
I'm blaming the producer.
All right, well, we'll have to slap him on the wrist.
Way to go, Cameron.
I was just pulling it up, and I was like, "Oh shit, Kirshner." Yeah, good to be back. Podcast number 2 with you guys. So let's talk shitty RSM golf.
Yeah.
No shot link data on one of the courses this week too, right? So this is just par for the course for the fucking awful false.
On the better one, actually. By the way, the Plantation one's actually pretty good. They did some good work to it, but I've never understood. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't understand with PGA Tour, why they are incapable of, when they have multi-course formats for tournaments, why they don't have the shot link on one of the courses. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
You got to move the equipment from one course to the other, Steve. It's too much work.
Just go to Best Buy and buy some iPads. All right, it's basically a tablet and a laser. That's all it is.
Yeah, iPads and manpower. That's really all you need for this stuff. So.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
That's true.
And this is the one where they chop the first round leader bets too, right? Like per the
it's
course
probably going to be it's probably going to be split.
Yeah, I think some offshores might have it combined, but usually it's Plantation or Seaside, which is actually convenient for this one because I think Plantation's par 72, Seaside's par 70. So that always gets confusing when they just show the PGA Tour leaderboard with, like a guy's 8 under. Two guys are 8 under, but one guy's at shot at 62. The other guy shot at 64. So yeah, nice and organized. So, do you have any thoughts on Houston first before we get to RSM? How'd you do last week?
I bet Finau. I think that.
Yeah, there we go.
I think that was pretty popular.
Yeah.
It just felt like the miscut at Mayakoba really wasn't that bad. Just a perfect course for him and a crappy field, and he was just awesome. I mean, he won by 4, but it obviously wasn't that close.
Yeah, I think it was up by 8 by the back nine. Yeah, I also bet Finau too. It was around the same vein that I didn't really care what happened to Michael. It was course Ross. He hadn't played in a month, but I think what was most surprising about Finau, and this is actually a conversation I think probably when we get to him later, is leading the field in driving accuracy. Everything was, I was just in awe of his ball striking all week. Everything just from Friday on was just automatic with him. Just down the fairway, just 300 or so. And I know too, he has another gear that he doesn't get to. And he kind of dials it back to stay the fairway. But man, just an awesome ball striking week from Finau. Just really, really, really impressive stuff.
Yeah, it seemed like he was dialing it back last week for sure. There's a lot of par 5s that he was laying back on just to keep the ball in play. And I think maybe that was because he was already up 3, 4, 5 shots. But I just continue to be, super impressed with the ball striking, but also the short game.
Yeah.
Those areas around those greens are not easy. And everything that I was watching and tracking when he had those 25, 35 yard pitches, he's hitting them stone dead. Right.
Yeah.
And not giving himself those 6, 7, 8 footers that pretty much everybody else was missing. So,
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I was also thinking too, those tight lies around the green, just, sticking it dead. I don't know, maybe the Masters is in play for him. Just, if he keeps up this good play, he's got some wins now. He's finally confident. He knows how to close. He's been good there. Might be something to watch soon. So
I think everything's in play for him. I really, I don't think he has the type, because he has the distance. He has the extra gear. He's got the iron play. He's got the short game. He's won on a bunch of different courses. Just needs to do it in stronger fields. So
and big boy events. How many strokes did he gain this fucking week? He did it again, and it was fucking.
I think he gained 10 strokes tee to green. I think,
dude.
and he putt pretty well too. So
yeah,
that usually gets you a multi-shot victory on the PGA Tour, especially in these fields when you do.
Especially with who are the 2 bums chasing him? I can't even remember the names today.
Oh, it's Tyson Alexander.
Ben Taylor.
Ben Taylor. Yeah,
Tyson Alexander.
Yeah, I was like, these guys are not catching.
Taylor can play. I don't know much about Tyson Alexander. He seems to have a good track record in Texas, so that's something to keep in mind. But I do like Ben Taylor.
Yeah. No, Ben Taylor's not a bad player. Yeah, he hits his longer approach shots pretty good. So
the Taylor Montgomery experiment finally came crashing down to much to lots of people's delights. He can't keep getting away with this. And he
still hasn't missed a cut, right? He's still there.
I know.
Still printing.
Yep.
He did.
Yep.
He did. So we'll get to him in a little bit too, because I think people are definitely off that ship, and I think we got to talk to him for a little bit. So why don't we transition to RSM? So Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about like what you're looking for? Like I think this is usually, at least when I handicapped it, pretty cut and dry, pretty similar to a lot of events we see a lot this year. Is there anything unique though that you're using for this tournament that you might not see it like like a Wyndham or anything like that, or is it basically just status quo for like
No, I would say the only. No, I mean you can just sort of look at the names that have won here. Yeah. It's crap, but they're all the same, right? It's Kirk, Kisner, Hughes, Streb, Duncan, all those guys. So I think you're going to see very concentrated ownership on a specific type, right? Mm-hmm. Those shorter, more accurate plotters, guys from Georgia, guys from Sea Island, all of that. So I try and go a slightly different direction with it as much as you can, because like the wind can pick up here. You can shoot really, really low scores here. So like if the wind is not up, you may see a cut here at like 4 or 5 under or something like that. And you may have a guy who actually plays okay for a couple of days and still misses the cut. So I'm going to try and stay off chalk as much as I can. I definitely knocked driving distance down a little bit. I just don't see a lot of drivers here, except on the par 5s for the Plantation course. But of course, that's just one day. I think the other thing too is like at this time of year with things winding down, like I want guys on the end of a heater, not guys who we haven't seen in a couple of weeks or anything like that. So I'm pretty much going to play a lot of the guys who have played well over the last month and just ride them into the ground one more week.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I remember last year, like Taylor Gooch, and I wasn't really a type of guy you would, think would be a good fit for this place, but he just was playing really well, heading in, and that kind of was just, just ended up working out with him,
I think his irons were in pretty good form coming.
Yeah, I mean, they were, but he just had missed the cut at Houston though, and then everybody was off him.
Gooch is interesting because like he obviously has a kind of track record of being a really good iron player, but he's also got a good short game. Yeah. And this field is so weak that I think anybody with that sort of pedigree, like, I mean, we'll talk about a guy like Tom Hoagie, who I think is almost at that level where Gooch is. He's not quite there, but he's pretty close and the same type of player. Like nobody is excited about Hoagie, but I think he's going to be a popular bet. I think he's going to be a popular play, and he's done really well here. So
I wonder if he will be, right? Because I was floating around in the fucking ocean at the Bahamas for the majority of last week, but when I got back, I was looking, and was it last week or the week before? Everybody was on Hoagie.
Michael, because he didn't play last week.
Yeah, Mike.
Okay, so 2 weeks ago, everybody was on him. He missed the cut, so maybe he'll stay a little sneaky as far as like ownership goes for DK.
He's under 10K, which is going to save him because people are going to see Harmon over and Power over, and they're going to stay under with Hoagie, I think.
Power's interesting, man. I mean, he almost won here last year. He's 2 top 5s and it's
a great course for him.
Yeah, and none of that data was at Bahamas and Mayakoba, so no one has in their data right now as far as like what he actually did, unless you want to look at like green regulation or putts per round or something. So
we're not talking about the live putts per round.
So I think we had when we go overseas,
I know. I think Seamus is fucking interesting this week. What do you think he's going to catch, Steve?
I don't think so, because I think, again, people are sort of going to play guys that are in the 9s. Like, I think Jason Dales will be popular. I think Denny McCarthy will be popular. And at the end of the day, people are still going to jam Tony Finau as they probably should. So I don't think anybody up there is going to be super high owned. I think you're going to see a lot of, like, McCarthy, Finau teams.
Yeah,
I guess.
I bet you people love Denny McCarthy.
People love McCarthy.
Love fucking Denny.
Well, and like they're going to look at a course here in the Southeast where you have to putt well and you have to be accurate, and they're going to compare it to Sedgefield. And like all that stuff's going to happen. So like, people are going to play Denny.
Well, let me ask a question about Tony's price this week, because I was looking at it. It almost seems like he's underpriced, just kind of based on just how this field is and everything. It almost seems like, all right, let's pretend like it's the Masters this week.
Yeah.
Like what's Finau's price in the Masters? Probably like what, like $9,200, $9,300. Like what's Seamus Power's price? Like $7,500.
Yeah.
So like it seems like Finau's like $1,000 less than what he probably should.
Yeah, I mean, he should be 3 times the ownership of pretty much anybody up here, and like you won't see that. Like maybe you'll see Finau at 40, but probably not even 40. I would imagine, probably less. Yeah. Now, I do think overall pricing this week is pretty soft, right? I think there's some value in the 9s, tons of values in the 6s and 7s this week, if you're willing to go down that low. So.
I'm always willing to dumpster dive because listen, if I'm gonna fucking lose anyway, I might as well lose with some scrub who I've never heard about, and then I can just blacklist them and
yell at me because I'm using
once you find a guy like that, then you can continuously think he's gonna repeat that and lose money long term with him. That's the fun part.
Yeah. I tend to just play the guys that I bet. Like I do most of my research late Sunday. You know, I get all my bets in Monday morning before pricing comes out for the most part. So like I kind of know who I'm going to play, or at least what half my team's going to look like. And then I click Finau, and then I click someone in the 6s, and then
you build it out. Mm-hmm. I think we lost.
Oh no. Time. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, while we get him back.
While we're waiting for Ryan to come back, let me talk to you guys about WinBet. If you guys are ready to win money and boost your odds, WinBet is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, Jersey, New York, Tennessee, Virginia. And we are bringing the excitement of the Win Las Vegas to online sports betting and casino play. Exclusive rewards are right at your fingertips with Win Rewards on WinBet. And be on the lookout for the WinBet Win Hour each Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time during the WinBet Hour or WinBet Win Hour. Marquee games of the week will have better odds on WinBet and giving you a larger payout opportunity. Great promos, odds, and payouts are happening right now. WinBet for boost. Same game parlays to live in-game odds on every major sport. WinBet has what you need to win. If you're ready to play, go sign up today and receive a special offer. Bet 100 and win 100. There's so much to choose from, and all you have to do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet so they know that we sent you. That's sportsgamblingpodcast/WINNBET to claim your free bet today. Offer is subject to change. Terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older. Where playthrough WinBet is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. All right, he's back.
We're back.
All right. So we kind of floated around a little bit as far as like, you know, how we think some ownership is going to be. Ryan, is there anybody up above $9,000 that you just, you know, ownership aside, you just don't really want anything to do with this week?
Probably Joel Damon. I think he's maxed out at this point. I've been playing a lot of golf. He was 91 last week and still kind of got there. And
yeah, he definitely got there.
And now he's 92. I don't think this course is quite as good of a course fit for him. So he would probably be the one that I don't play. I guess Taylor Montgomery, but again, if like this is the week that everybody hops off, maybe you hop on. I don't think it's a great course for him. So ideally I would say no. I think the one that I actually really do like that I got to think about a little bit is Mitchell. He was really good ball striking again last week. He's improved his putting a lot over the last year. This is obviously the area of the country where we like to play Keith Mitchell, and he's got a 12th and a 14th here so far.
Doesn't he live there? Doesn't he live in Seattle?
Yeah, he's part of the mafia.
Yeah.
And again, like I just think he's a very safe guy who's going to be in the top 20, top 25, and probably won't bet him to win. But I just think, you know, he scores, he streaks, he makes a lot of birdies. I think he's a great option this week.
I had him first round leader, just blindly. I only picked like 5 last week, and he was like, I don't know, fucking like 90-1. I was very happy with it, and then he put one in the fucking drink, and he couldn't make a goddamn birdie on the back 9 of round 1. He was cruising, and he couldn't do shit, and then put one in the drink. Yeah. So that means I have to go back to Keith this week because this will be the week that he actually pays off.
Yeah, I actually like Keith Mitchell too, and I mean, piggybacking off what you said, the ball striker was really good last week. You know, a couple other places where, I mean, it seems like if there is somewhere at this golf course where it's kind of more difficult, is that there's a lot of penalty strokes off the tee. It's one of the highest rates on the PGA Tour. There's actually a lot of, you know, golf courses he's done well at. That's a similar situation, like PGA National, a lot of water there. Liberty National for the 2021 Northern Trust did really well that year too. I think he's got a couple good finishes at 3M. Some good finishes here too. Some top 15 finishes. You know, really good part on Bermuda as well. I like him this week too. I like what I'm seeing coming in from him. He seems like he finally got the irons back on track last week after kind of a slow start to the fall. The proximity numbers from under 175 aren't all that good, but he scores pretty well on them because he feels like he just keeps it kind of safe. He gets in a good position where he can score, and he puts pretty well on the surface. So I like him this weekend. It doesn't seem like, at least with initial ownership, it seems like everybody's going to like Jason Day. Seems like Joel Damon's getting a lot too. It seems like he's kind of sandwiched between there, and he's getting a little bit, lost in the shuffle a bit.
Yeah, people are definitely going to play Damon and Denny, and Day is caught. Like I've seen Day.
Yeah, that's disappointing a little bit.
Yeah, and like you don't even need Mitchell to win, right? He's going to be your number 2 guy in if you play Finau. He could be a number 3 guy in. Like if you went like Hoagie, Montgomery, and then Mitchell as your third, I mean, no one's going to have anything like that. So you certainly have some flexibility there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, with Montgomery, if we're going to run back to him a little bit, I'm intrigued because like Houston was the first like really like big boy demanding golf course tee to green he's played so far. And like the other ones he's done well has been like these wedge fests where sure, like he hasn't been hitting his irons all that good, but just because he's been draining everything, he hasn't been getting in too much trouble at these types of places with his approach shots where he just gives himself a good look for birdie. I'm interested in seeing if going back to that type of tournament might actually wake him up a little bit. And I mean, the owners, no one is going to him. It seems like everybody hopped off. I'm interested. I think this is a good litmus test to see like, okay, is this type of tournament is what you're really going to be useful for, on the PGA Tour, or did the bubble burst?
Yeah. And I mean, keep in mind too, he had a big shift last week being put in that feature pairing with Wise and Scheffler for the first 2 days. Right. Mm-hmm. So he's going from playing back of field with his very comfortable Korn Ferry Tour pairings to, okay, you're in the feature group with a world number 2 and Aaron Wise. Right. So I think there was a little bit there as well.
Okay.
What does that? So what does that say about so if that affects him, like I don't know, like I treat golf like any other
time. It's going to affect you. Like anytime you're in contention, anytime you're in that group, anytime you play with Tiger, like kind of whatever it is, like it's going to have some kind of impact.
I feel like Tiger's a little different than Aaron.
Sure, and again, he didn't miss the cut, right? He didn't stop.
No, I know.
So I think, I think you could definitely play him this week if he's going to be, 6, 7, 8% owned.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to be one of those guys who like Wednesday night all of a sudden we all think he's going to be low owned, and then everybody jumps.
No, this guy hasn't won. Keep in mind, right? He's again one of the Korn Ferry Tour guys who is basically number 1 all year, but never won anything, right? Kind of like Xander was up there, kind of like Zalatoris was for a while. So he still wants to win.
Yep. Okay. Capper, got any other takes above $9,000? Like, who do you like up here?
So I really wanted to play Hoagie this week, but he's uber dog. So I think I might just bet him. I don't know, but I want to play Seamus. I definitely want to play Seamus just because of his track record, and he's on a heater. I swore Finau would have withdrew by now. I don't understand why he's playing. I just don't get it.
Get the points, man. Get the money.
He's already got a win, and like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess, but I mean, he does have a gaggle of kids, so.
He's got plenty of time coming off. He's only got the hero thing coming up, and then the Tournament of Champions in January. Like, you're fine.
Yeah, it's true. All right, it's true. I mean, how gross would how many diamonds in the rough down in the 6 gig do you have to play a fucking Finau Seamus?
You can do it. They priced Dean Burmester like down at the min, so I
know
that's and then like if you just want to get wild, like you can always play like Brian Gay. I mean, there's stuff down there.
Yeah, there definitely is. It's just like, we'll get to that range. This name's down here.
But you could play Seamus with Finau for sure.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
All right. Why don't we go below $9,000? So it seems like just with initial ownership, the top of the $8,000 range, there's not really much going on. Big drop off from like Matthew Neesmith is drawing ownership. People are going back to him, but right at Kuchar, $8,900. Really nobody. And it kind of goes, you start picking up some ownership. Looks like around the low 8s with like Justin Rose, Riley Todd. I was playing around with some Finau lineups. It seems like maybe that's like roster build where you fit Finau and then you go right to the low 8s. So I guess Ryan, why you kick it off? Like, what do you think with this range? Is anybody you like, anybody you don't like when you start breaking it down?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think anybody's rushing to play people here, like you said. Right. And I think overall people are going to look at the course history and sort of the type of player like Webb, Kuchar, Kisner, Rowe. They're all kind of the same. Right. Yeah. So I think if they get any ownership, it's going to be the guys at the lower end who also have the course history. Right. I think Webb will get some play. I think Kisner will get some play. Rose has actually been relatively competent these past few weeks.
Yeah.
So he honestly may be the highest of that range, unless Davis Riley gets steam, which I think he will.
You think he's gonna? So you think? So he's one of the outrights that I already bet. Just I thought the number was
I think people are going to bet Riley, and when they bet him, they play him.
I don't like. He's so squirrely off the fucking tee, man. In a place with here, you know what I mean? With all the penalty areas. And
totally. I totally get it. And again, I'm going to play the guys who I like and who I've been riding for the last month. And in that range, it's going to be Wyndham Clark and it's going to be Mac Hughes. Hughes happened to be a winner here, happened to win a few weeks ago. He's playing really, really well right now. I could see him up at 9,300 this week, and he's not. So it's pretty much Hughes is the only guy that I want to play there. I did bet him this week, and I would consider Wyndham Clark. Just the form is good, and he's actually been okay here, which is surprising because this does not seem like a course.
Right. Yeah, it seems like Patrick Rogers and Wyndham Clark are kind of basically the same player. They're long off the box, they putt. So if you like Patrick Rogers, you got Clark probably at $700.
I played them both last week because of that, and I also thought that Dean Burmester was the same player. Yeah, he wasn't. So no, I don't know.
No, I didn't. So I think I'm in on Rose as well. He's been decent course history here, played well last week. Mm-hmm. I kind of like Brendan Todd too, just seems like the type of cookie cutter template guy for this place. He's been a little up and down this fall, but he had a top 10 at Fortinet, top 10 at CJ Cup. I think he has a 4th place finish here when he's on that little heater after he almost opened up a pizzeria franchise because he's going to quit. So like that type of guy.
Every time you say that, I'm like, that's something that I should always remember and reference. This guy was going to open up a Godfather.
He was gone, injured. He had the yips, and then he almost won 3 in a row.
Yeah, exactly. So I like him. I don't really. I'm surprised that Kuchar is drawing low ownership. I guess it's
that price is way too high on Kuchar.
Yeah. It is. It's 3 top 30 finishes. He kind of seems like a safe option, but
for sure.
I don't know. I think I'm more gravitating towards the lower end of their range, like the Roses and Todds, but I like Hughes as well. I like that play. Otherwise, though, I guess gun to your head of the struggling course fit veteran guy like Simpson or Kisner. Who do you want to take? Because they're both kind of ugly right now. You want Webb?
Yeah, I just trust him more. Yeah, okay. I don't think Kisner's that good. Webb hasn't been good, but I just don't think Kisner's good.
Yeah.
So I made a resolution that I would stop putting money on or against Kisner because whichever way I put money on him, it goes the other direction. He's like a cockroach. He just never fucking goes away. He's not good. And that's what frustrates you when you have a matchup. And you're how's he draining these 40-foot putts?
Yeah. Well, and the only weeks that you have any interest in playing Kisner, so does everybody else.
Right?
He's never going to be sneaky here. He's never going to be sneaky at Wyndham. And those are the weeks where you're going to be like, oh, I should play Kisner.
Right. Yeah. I think I'm off both.
Yeah.
Here.
Same.
Yeah. The only old dusty guy that I can root for in my life is Tom Brady. I can't go with Kuchar.
There you go.
I can't go Webb, Kiz, Rose. I'm just done with these guys. I'm ready for a new batch. Let's go to the Champions Tour, boys. Let's stop. let's just stop. You know what I mean? Let's let some new crop come up. Nobody likes your stupid MasterCard commercials. Rose, oh God, and the Morgan Stanley.
You've always had an axe to grind with the Morgan Stanley thing.
Yeah, because the fucking hat is stupid, and so are the goddamn commercials. They're awful. We've talked about it off air.
I know we have.
Yeah, it wasn't that they were there's no rivalry in brokerage firms. It's just annoying, and he's a terrible. That strawberry ice cream thing, the one with his caddy, is possibly the worst commercial I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah,
and keep in mind, I watch local Boston sports, and it's Pasternak does Dunkin' Donuts commercials. Okay, those are fucking terrible, and these are even worse. Okay, Justin Rose is terrible. Ugh.
All right,
sorry. I'm grouchy, man. I'm ready for a fucking.
I know you are
ready.
All right. Well,
I even had last week off.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. So, all right. While we move in the $7,000 range, Cameron, why don't we go to you first?
Right.
So, what are some names down here you like?
So, what do you guys think about Rye?
Trap.
It's trappy, right?
Yeah, I don't like Rye.
Because it's like such an obvious course fit.
I know.
But he low-key has been bad, and the irons have been just pathetic. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he top 10 last week.
Yeah, it was all short game stuff. His irons were just terrible.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I know, and he has a top 20 here. Like, I don't know what his ownership.
It seems like a good course fit though, so like I could see it. I just don't trust him here.
Yeah, it seems like anytime, like, all right, coastal, windy conditions, like, because everybody remembers that Scottish Open win.
Yeah.
I've never really been a Rye guy. I know a lot of people are though.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go back to Hattie. Like, he's one of these guys who I've been riding. And whatever, like one last gas. He's good at 150 and in. And his approach numbers are fine. Like, hasn't done anything that's been like, ooh. He hasn't done anything that's been like he's been terrible either. So whatever. One last gas. He's getting no ownership. So whatever. I refuse to play SH Kim. I just refuse. Like, I don't know anything about him, and he caught steam for whatever reason on Twitter a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I think I know who he is. I think he's not a very good iron player. Does it all on and around the greens.
You guys got any interest in a $7,200 no owned Luke List?
I mean, you might as well. He was pretty pathetic over the weekend again. But he likes this course.
He does like the course.
I
don't know if I can.
I kind of stopped playing him.
Me too. He used to be like a heroine for me, and I don't think I've actually played him in like a year. Like, when he won, I definitely didn't have any money on him. Like, I don't know.
No, like I would rather play Straka for the same price.
No,
I've been
getting kicked in the dick by Straka. I think the last 3 weeks. I think, or the last 3 times he's played. I think
but like last week he was randomly super popular at a higher price, and he sucked. But okay, whatever. It was a hard course, and now he's coming here back to Georgia, and he's not going to be owned. And I don't know. I would rather play him than List for sure.
I would rather play Straka too, but I've been because I had Straka at the Sanderson, and I just kept betting him. It has not gone.
It's your fault Straka ended up on my radar because.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should be.
I think there's a lot of guys here though. I think ownership will be spread. Like, just kind of going through names that people have been playing. Like Putnam, people have been playing. Smalley will get ownership. Will Gordon is still up there. In terms of like course history, I think everyone's going to play Chris Kirk again. And then you have like all the Georgia guys, Sig and Hodges and Davis Thompson and all those guys are going to be played. I'm going to bite the bullet, play Harris English again, and bet Harris.
I like English too this week.
I kind of went back and forth because he's been playing okay, but
he's close. He's close,
but he's like finishing like 35th, And then I think the last time he played here was 2020. He opened 66, 66, and then closed with a 62. And I was like, yeah, that'll do it. All right, I'm in.
Well, what really fucked him up, it wasn't even the injury. It was the Karen who called in about his putter, about his fucking putter grip.
Yeah. But the hip injury is that's a tough one to come back from too.
Yeah, I mean, look at Woodland's coming back from the same thing. I said that when
has he though?
Has he though? No. You know what I mean? Like, he's back playing, right? He's not back. But I said the same thing when they were saying he was coming back because my oldest daughter was a competitive dancer, and she tore her hip labrum.
Yeah,
and I saw recovery from that. And I know dance is different than golf. Like, dance is more rigorous than golf, so it took it took her a lot longer to get back. But I was like, that's nothing easy to come back from. Like, it's literally tore away from your hip. Like, that's not good.
Yeah, no, it's tough. But yeah, I'm gonna play the pedigree guy. So if I had to pick a few here, it would be English, it would be Kirk. And probably Taylor Moore. We played Taylor Moore forever, right? All year, all summer, he crushed. I think he missed the cut by 1, maybe 2 last week. Yeah. But this is a much better course for him. So and he makes so many birdies that
he does.
He's going to pay off this price. So I'll go that way.
Okay.
Is Ben Matten playing this week?
Yeah, I'm sure, but he's got to be way down there. He's kind of died a little bit. Yeah. I am going to go back to Ben Taylor. Like we mentioned him earlier. It's the perfect type of course for him. He's a great iron player.
Taylor, not Martin.
Yeah. As you saw, great par 3 player. And he's won, right? He's won the Korn Ferry Tour in Panama. He plays these type of golf courses well. I got him like 150 to 1, so like whatever. But I think it's a good price for Ben Taylor.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on Harris English. I kind of like Grayson Stake too. I know he's got the Georgia narrative, but he's got a lot of things I'm looking for. Good iron player under 175, good putter, pretty accurate off tee. Like that's basically just like if I'm checking those boxes down here, I like that. Svensson, I think had a top 40 last week. And he kind of has a little bit what you're looking for here too. Like, he's relatively accurate off the tee, good under 175 as well. That could be somebody to consider. Justin Lauer was horrible last week, but overall in the fall, is that enough maybe to go back again? Still a lot of things to like about him. That could be someone to consider. And I think a lot of people might be off him this week. Cabra, you've been making the joke about Russell Knox's LASIK, but actually his putting has improved.
I know, man.
So maybe that's somebody to go to as well. I think he might draw a little ownership because of the name, though.
He's a Jacks guy now. I didn't know that.
Pat Kazire, kind of the same deal there. This guy is dead. He shows up at Mayakoba like he always does, and then he's going to show up here and make every putt.
Yeah.
I just feel like you have to play some Pat Kazire and like root against him.
Yeah. I actually Kazire was one of the guys I highlighted just because like the Mayakoba stats are not in there. Yeah. And he does generally do a little better on golf courses with shorter approach shots. So
he sucks here except for putting. Like he just makes every putt. So I don't know.
Yeah. Hey,
I'd be willing to play him here. And you're gonna have to when you jam Finau and Seamus Power together. So
so I was just actually about to say, this is under 7K. I know I said I was done with old dusty guys, and I'm pretty sure that he's gonna fuck me. But I think I could go back to Zach Johnson. Like this is a perfect old dusty Zach Johnson course. Like he's got a great course history here. He's doing Zach Johnson things, right? He's finishing 40th and 45th and shit like that, but he's fucking 69 under. Like whatever. Like I'd rather pay him than fucking QAnon Piercy.
So I mean, if you played, you can play him. I mean, we'll talk about Brian Gay and Dean Burmester. Like they're so cheap that I'm going to play them anyways.
Yeah.
But like if you played all three of them, like you can get like Power, Finau, and Mac Hughes together. Like,
I know you can
do whatever you want.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I think I figured out what my hand 20 builds are all going to be. It's going to be 20. It's going to be 20 Finau, Finau and Power, and then I'm just.
You can actually get Pat Kazire over Zach Johnson if you don't want to play him. So there you go.
Yeah. All right, Kazire. I feel like
you can't go wrong this week. There's so many terrible golfers down here. Like, I mean, you mentioned Ben Martin, Kelly Kraft, Brian Stewart. Like, are those guys any worse than Pat Kazire and Zach Johnson? Not really.
No.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like Bo Hosser is $7,100 and he's a bad golfer. And like, I don't see a difference between him as like Tyler Duncan or like Max McGreevy. Like there's no real difference, I think, between any of these guys. So yeah.
Garrett, it's he got Higo down at 60.
That's the one guy. Like play your guy Cam Percy, right? He's been good and he'll make this cut.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna play Harmon over Power. So I'll do like a Finau, Harmon, Hughes with some shit down below. This is great. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
All right. Yeah. Well, we mentioned Burmester.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is it? No. I was going to say. So is it? God damn it. Go ahead.
Well, so actually, another guy, $6,300. That's really gross. Philip Knowles. Yeah. So he's been bad. He's been really bad so far.
He is bad.
But where he's had success has been on the golf courses with shorter approach shots. And that seems like it, like at least in the stats page, is what he's actually been doing a little better as far as like proximity and scoring wise. So he finished T64 at Shriners, T57 Bermuda, T48 at Mayakoba. Like, I mean, I don't really see a whole ton of difference between Mayakoba and Bermuda in this place. So if $6,300 just to make a cut, and if everybody's going to like Burmester, if he's going to catch steam, like because he's so horribly mispriced, and you really need somebody, down here, I can see a way where, okay, this guy doesn't have a lot of pedigree to him, but I've seen relative success at just these short knocking, shorter tracks. I can find a way, I think, to get him in the lineup there.
Yeah. I mean, we just saw Aaron Baddeley almost won Bermuda, right?
Yeah.
He's been playing sneaky well. And like you talk about an accuracy course where you need to putt, like this is a perfect course for him. He did miss the cut at Mayakoba by 1, but like I don't really care. He shot under par. I think that makes sense. And then the other name that I saw down here was Ramey, right? Who's won on the tour, right? Yeah. He won, was it Punta Cana, Corrales, something like that. And again, like he's missed like 3 recent cuts all by a shot. I don't really care about that too much. A guy who's won on tour at this price, like confident that he can make a cut here. So
what about Malnati? Is this like a Malnati course?
My only concern, I don't know if there is a Malnati course.
Sanderson, that's it.
He did withdraw last week pre-event, so I don't know if there was something going on or a couple weeks ago. So, and then at Houston, he was like in last place. So I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Harrison Endicott. That's another name that's kind of on my radar too, as far as, just good at Bermuda, good proximity rates under 175, scores well from that range too, at least, coming up from the Corn Ferry Tour. The driving accuracy stats on some of the Corn Ferry graduates is off because I think it's Sanderson is screwed everybody up. I think only like the field hit the fairway like 45% that week. So of all the Corn Ferry guys, he's actually one of the more accurate drivers. So that makes me think, okay, he's just in general, probably an accurate player. So again, like just kind of fitting like a cookie cutter template of what I'm looking for. Doing it at a course that I don't see a whole ton of difference in, this place. That's another name I like at $6,600 that I don't think is going to be too popular this week because he missed the cut of Mayakoba.
I think that makes sense. And again, like we have very limited data, but like you take a guy who you do have data on. If I told you that, at this course, Brian Stewart was in the low sevens, you would believe me, right? 6,300, and he's been making a lot of cuts. Like you could do far worse than Brian Stewart here, right?
What about my boy Villegas?
Who?
Villegas, Camilo Villegas. I love that dude. I love his backstory, and I think I had a first-round leader with him, and I'm pretty sure I bet him outright a couple years ago at this tournament.
Yeah, well, you remember him
or something.
Yeah, he made a run the year that Robert Streb broke our heart. That year.
Yeah.
So he made a run that year. So let's see. Ryan Armour too. So I think it was a couple weeks ago. It was either Bermuda or Mayakoba that he had like 15% ownership. And he was fine. He had top 30s the last 2 weeks. And I was looking at projected ownership and it's actually under 10. So I'm not really sure what's changed. I mean, he's been playing fine. He's accurate, hits his, short irons pretty well, putts well in Bermuda. If the ownership is low, like I don't understand why people were all over him a couple weeks ago and he did nothing to really get you off him. That's another guy I like this week.
I agree. Yeah. I think it's just going to be more spread this week because there's a ton of options. Yeah. Like I feel like there's so many guys who could be like $1,000 more or less. Like Mullinax could be 8,500, right?
Right.
I would not bat an eye after, and he's in the low sevens, and he was what 10th last week, 4th last week.
Yeah, he was great.
Now we're gonna play Mullinax. All right.
I don't think Mullinax is a course fit. Yeah. Plus, he's the one.
I don't either, but he just finished 4th, and like
he's one of the terrible goatee, isn't he? He's got like the soul patch, right? Is that Mullinax? That's Mullinax, right?
Possibly.
He's like. I'm telling you, like I think I looked at him. I was like, I have money on this asshole. Like, you know what I mean? It's like one of those.
He's just so much better than like that range. I don't know. There's a lot of options, but I think it's going to be spread. And I think guys like Armour are just not going to be owned because people don't have to go to the sixes. Like they're going to live in the sevens. Like you're going to see a lot of, like you said, start with Finau, you grab an 8K or 9K guy, and then you just kind of fill in with the sevens.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to avoid at least like the really low sixes with a Finau. It's just.
So we're going to play Burmester and Gay and
right.
Print all the money. Yeah,
it all, baby. Print all the money. What about Herman? He's got a good course history. Yeah,
he's been
the stone minimum. He's been bad.
Yeah, he's
been as bad as it gets.
You know what's sad? Danny Lee flat $6,000. That's just
sad or helpful.
Touche. I mean, when you're losing over your last 12 rounds, a shot and a half tee green, losing 1.2 putting, like
definitely
that's how you get to $6,000.
A Danny Lee course, that's for sure. He is going to be 8 over and probably withdraw at some point this week. So
probably.
Yeah, he's another one that'd be fun to like follow around just to watch the inevitable meltdown at a certain hole.
Okay. Fun. All right, and
we got some names down.
We do. We said a lot of good names down here. So
yeah.
Any other closing thoughts before we wrap this up, Ryan?
No, I don't think so. It's just kind of power through this event, and then we'll be back for I don't really come back till Torrey Pines, but I guess when Tiger's back, we'll watch some golf.
Yeah,
fair enough. Tell people where to find you at, man.
Yeah, always on Twitter. We'll resume our Golflandia podcast probably right around Torrey Pines time. Just a lot going on right now, obviously, and people just want NFL content. That's all they care about. Everyone's an NFL expert. Everyone's a Showdown expert. So,
dude, I don't even fuck with Showdown. I don't know how Wiley does that shit. He does that shit with hockey too. So I'm a hockey fan, but I only know the fucking Bruins. I don't know the backup goalie on the goddamn Canucks. I have no clue. You know what I mean? I don't even know how you would have time to.
No, I've started playing like a team a night just to sort of learn the sport. It's just miserable. It's just the worst.
just play the perfection line, man. Just play the Bruins.
Look, the Bruins are awesome. You stack the first line, and then it's Zaka, Hall, and the fucking second line. So you just never know. Yeah. Nobody knows a fucking thing about gambling. Nobody. Don't listen to.
No, nobody. Don't listen. No, listen. No, I agree. Listen, I agree, and we get paid to do a podcast about.
That's right.
Whatever. Listen. I know it's like when I was a financial advisor, right? Listen, I send the stuff to the smart guys doing the charts, right? Yeah. I know more than you do, so you give me all your money, and I will give it to the guys who are smart to invest it for you, and I'll kiss your baby and shake your hand and ask, how's your mother? You know what I mean?
That's right.
All right, man. Really appreciate you coming on. Last event of the season. Enjoy the time off.
Sounds good, boys.
Steve, good luck this week. You got anything else?
No, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow night with the real Brian Kirshner.
Way to go, Cameron Kerr. You fucked that up, buddy. Lashings for you.
I've been called bad things before, but that's bad.
That's low.
That is quite the insult there. But we'll be back tomorrow night with Brian to break down our final fall swing betting card of the 2022 year.
And then Steve's gonna force me to do podcasts somehow between now and an actual golf event, and I'll stop.
And make your major predictions. You got shit to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go through another research column I have, painstakingly detailed.
I love how Ryan's just needling me because you can see on my face the pain of having to do something like that. So there you go. Outstanding. All right. We'll see you degenerates tomorrow. Later.
See you guys.